right, so we're going to get into the ideal year of scouting program. Welcome. We're going to cover developing an annual program, leader succession, plans, budgets, updates to the Guide to Safe Scouting, and where it stands at the local council fee. We're going to get into all that, but let's start with the ideal year of scouting. Our goal today is to provide you with information and tools that will help you create and fund your ideal year of scouting. We really do mean an ideal year of scouting. Now, when you think about that, you need to think big, okay? We're going to give you the tools to help you plan that very successful program. Some of those things are your Pinewood Derby, all right? That's always something you want to plan for. Your blue and gold. Summer camp. Okay, there's good old Cretenstein. Canoe trips. And Philmont Scout treks. Those are all very important things, and those should be goals that every unit should be thinking about wanting to do. All right, Journey to Excellence. There, now we're back on track. So when we're planning, it's always helpful to review the JTE guides. Okay, I know they're not really used that much on the national level, but for helping you plan your unit level activities and even your district level activities, whether it be CUB or BSA, they really give you a good guideline to go off of to help you figure out what you need to do. So what does Journey to Excellence bring to your unit? A framework for planning for the year. The Journey to Excellence standards are based on what a successful unit can continually to improve on. If your unit plans to achieve gold or silver Journey to Excellence, you will have a strong and active program. A method for evaluating your unit. The Journey to Excellence provides tangible measurements based on things that you are likely already tracking, such as how many campouts you have, how many youth are advancing, etc., and use simple ways to calculate your performance. It'll give you guidance in areas where you can do better. Specific guidelines and standards of what is considered good performance, and early warning of potential problem areas. It'll give you recognition for good scouting. You can proudly receive your bronze, your silver, your gold recognition for your scouting unit in that year. Benchmarking to give you ideas and tips from other good units. You can receive help and best practices in those areas where other units have already met the gold standard. There is no requirement, no expectation. In fact, we might even discourage a unit from believing that they need to achieve the gold standard. Because what is scouting's motto? Do your best. There's no shame and no problem if a unit achieves silver or gold. It's all about continuing improvement. In addition to the Journey to Excellent materials provided by the national organizations, the Crossroads of America Council has put together tools to assist your unit in planning your ideal year of scouting. This includes digital resource guidebook, your council calendar, and an updated program planner tool. Using these tools, units will be able to complete leadership inventory as well as put together a calendar and a budget for your ideal year of scouting. We want to help your unit on your ideal year of scouting journey, so we ask that you share your completed items with us by June 30th. That is not a hard deadline, but try to achieve it. Your calendar. Okay. Yeah, there we go. All right.
What was that date again?
June 30th. That's when the council would like for you to share your plan to them. Okay? Through the preparation of our district professional staff and volunteer.
Why does the council need that, or why does the council ask for it, and why June 30th?
You got me off guard on that. Would you like to answer it?
So, how many people have had kids play soccer or football or any kind of sport? You show up to the first practice, they typically tell you what the schedule is of practice and when the games are? Yes. Same thing, that's why we're looking for a calendar for PACs, because there are a number of PACs, believe it or not, that you say, yeah, we're not really sure what we're doing next week or next month. And guess what? Those young people and their parents leave and don't come back. So, I've had kids play sports as well. We've been to places where they give us a schedule, and whole agenda, everything's there. We've also been to places where like, well, we're gonna kind of figure out in the next few weeks. We're like, next few weeks, what? So, makes everybody feel better. And right behind the calendar is the budget. Hey, here's all the things we're gonna do. You know, like, I'm super excited about this trip to the Badlands and Yosemite and Rapid City. That's cool. That is an ideal year of scouting. You know, sign me up. I'm ready to go. But that's what this whole thing is all about. So that's why it's important to have a calendar and a budget. And then I think he's going to talk about succession planning too. Like Mark and I, we were just talking about succession planning a few minutes ago. And the reason June 30th is because, you know, people start to go on vacation, they're gone for the summer, and then all of a sudden you get back, schools in session, you say, oh my gosh, this is next week. That's why it's trying to give a little bit of lead time so that everything's ready for recruiting night. That's why. Good
Thank
answer.
you.
Good answer.
Thank you for that. So, and for those that don't know, there was a lot of revisions to this program that came kind of late, and that's why I don't have most of the stuff memorized yet, and you see me reading from Cliff Notes. So we're trying to get ahead of the program here. So, all right. Through the preparation of our district professional staff and volunteer committees across the council, we are grateful to be able to share how you can achieve success in 2023 and the 2024 calendar. This includes dates for council level, district level, and service organization events. In the next couple of slides, I want to walk everyone through where to access the council calendar. It is important to note that not all of the 2024 calendar entries have active registration links. Like I said, we're still kind of working through this a little bit. These links will be added as volunteers and professionals continue to work together to finalize details for the respective events. To access the calendar, visit thecrossroadsbsa.org/calendar. If you find yourself on the website homepage, you can still access the calendar. To do so, locate the web page header over the Activities and Events button until a drop-down menu appears. From that menu, select Events Calendar. From the calendar page, there are a variety of ways to view the information. Most common is the month spread or list view. To select between viewing options, to the top right of the calendar, you will see options for the month, list, as well as week and day. Just select which way you'd like to view it. Program Planner. Solid packs and troops and crews have a clear plan and a budget. The tool that we will be reviewing is based on a resource that was developed by council staff over many years with input from unit leaders who wanted to make it better. Our professional team, with review by the District Commissioner Corps and other volunteers, have put in many hours to make an up-to-date, dynamic, and resourceful tool for program and budget planning. If you've done your own taxes online, you'll find this tool to be pretty familiar. This is one selection of our presentation that is recorded. Now we need to switch to a YouTube video. So drop out of that and then click right there and then click one of those and then drag it over to the screen.
Hello and welcome to our overview of the 2023-2024 PAC Program Planner. My name is Nat Baker. I'm a business data analyst for the Crossroads America Council, and I'll be walking you through this tool that we hope our units will utilize to plan your ideal year of scouting. This tool is a culmination of effort. Number one, it's based off of a tool that we've had for a number of years here in the Crossroads America Council that had countless hours invested in it by both staff and volunteers. This particular version that we'll be reviewing today is an upgrade of the aforementioned platform. For those of you who have done your own taxes online and you're used to kind of the GPS approach where it will ask you a question, you say yes or no, and then ask you another question, yes or no, and then another question, you put in a value there. This is going to be a similar process. And once you answer those questions, the answers to those will be utilized throughout the rest of the spreadsheet. So let's dive into what this actual tool does. And on our instructions tab, you'll see it has some key elements about what we hope you do with your PAC program planning session. But then we're going to get into the actual program planner tool. So as I mentioned, there are a number of tabs, and you can navigate to those tabs either through the link right here on the page itself or down here below using the tabs at the bottom of the spreadsheet. We have a leadership inventory tab to help identify any potential holes you might have in your volunteer structure. It's also an easy way to say, hey, like, XYZ leader is filling 4 different roles. Maybe we should look at splitting that up and invite other families to participate in the volunteer opportunity that scouting is. Step 2 is our Q&A preparation tab. This is the one that's going to have a number of questions for you to fill out, provide answers to it, put some basic information about your unit, and then that information gets used elsewhere throughout the spreadsheet. The tab after that is the brainstorming tab. And this is the tab where we think it's best to get your scouts and your families involved. Find out what they really want to do. This is where they can dream big. Next tab is the calendar tab. And this pulls in information that you have entered in addition to the stuff we've already included that you entered in on the brainstorming tab. And you'll go into the calendar and you'll select from a list and say, we want to do this topic, or we want to do this activity. And based off of your selection, it's going to then reference the brainstorming tab, find out how much it costs for that, and it will start building that budget process. The calendar, as I just mentioned, does connect to the budget, and the budget is a fully automatic tab. It uses the information that you've put in and provided to us on steps 2, 3, and 4, and the budget just automatically populates. So step 6 of our program planning process is a request. We ask that all of our units do submit a copy of this program planner to the council, not because we want to check up on you in any way, but because we want to be your partner in helping you realize your ideal year of scouting. Equally important is communicating this plan with your families. Once you have a calendar and budget set, get it in front of your families as soon as possible. I would also like to call your attention, if your unit uses Scoutbook or some other unit management software, we would encourage you to upload your calendar into that platform to make it easier for your families, the easy process to do, and we've included a link to the instructions on how to do that via Scoutbook. We're going to go ahead and start diving into these tabs. I've already populated this with some hypothetical information about a unit that doesn't really exist, but just so we can see how the platform works. So first, we're going to dive into the leadership inventory. I'm sure you've heard about succession planning, both whether it's your time in scouting or in your professional world, just the importance of having that next person lined up, especially for key roles. It's unfortunate to say, but the reality is all of our Cub Scout packs at some point in their past have had a situation where either a key leader has gotten sick, has had to move, someone has passed away, or just, their child's no longer interested in scouting, they've had to move on. And some of those packs have weathered those transitions well, and some packs haven't. And one of the best ways to prevent that from happening is have a succession plan. And what that means is that you go through and you inventory who your current leaders are in their particular role, and then who is the next person that you're identifying, or maybe you've even already had a conversation with them about them taking over that role in the future. And it's even worthwhile, especially for your more critical roles, to have the person after the next person at the very least identified as a prospect. So you might have 1, 2, 3 names in here. So you can start having those conversations with them, start gauging their interest. We delineated this. So we have the unit key 3, other leadership roles. We also have some ad hoc roles. Maybe these are people who are just working on a particular project for a short period of time. And then we also have our den leaders here at the bottom. You can expand this if you want. And you'll notice we have some instructions up here at the top, some additional insight, and some information about new requirements that exist that were just recently released in the Guide to Safe Scouting. Our next tab is the Q&A prep tab. This tab is really the brains, if you will, behind this whole tool this year. And so what you're going to do is you're going to complete this prior to your planning meeting. And you're going to go in, you're going to enter in your unit information, and I'll change this real quick. I want you to see this. So notice when I deleted the unit number, the shading for that field has changed to a brighter orange. And once you type in the unit information, the shading changes to a light tan. That lets you know that you can still edit that field, but we're trying to call your attention to it in that orange field just to make sure that you fill out all the things that need to be filled out. So I've already gone through, I've put in our projected membership. Now we start getting into the question and answer portion. So the questions you answer here are going to align up with different fields within the budget, but by answering it here, you don't have to worry about on the budget tab. It's just going to automatically take care of your responses and make the necessary adjustments. For the advancement and recognition, you'll see we're asking for the average number of adventures earned per youth, and we have a default value there. But you can also change it to any of these others. And frankly, you could change it to another number if you wanted. But we think this is probably the range that most of our youth are going to participate in. If it's a default value, the conditional formatting rule is set up to keep it in that brighter orange color. You can ignore it. Obviously, you've done what you need to, but just be aware of that. We also have a number of questions related to what your scouts will receive when they graduate from one rank to the next. So a lot of our packs have chosen to issue a handbook for the next rank to their scouts. If we scroll down, you're going to see we have some questions related to the fundraising recognition, and this would be in addition to the council provided popcorn rewards. We have questions here related to leader recognition, rechartering. How much money would you like to set aside for pack meeting expenses? We also have a question in here related to scout assistance. We know that assisting our scouts who maybe are in need doesn't just rest on the council's registration assistance program. While that is a main source, it is not the only source. A number of our units do have a fund set aside for youth in their unit to help cover those expenses, at least partially. This is a spot where you can, say, here's what our unit is going to set aside for our scouts to support them through the process. We also have a option here for you to say how much money you want to have left in your checking account at the end of your scouting year. We do encourage our units to include a contingency for unforeseen expenses. We also have an opportunity for you to say how much money each of the dens are going to need per scout per year, recognizing there are a lot of other expenses that your pack might incur that just can't be captured within this spreadsheet. We have included 5 other options here for you to put in additional value. So whether that's a purchase you're trying to make this year, a purchase you're going to make in the future, like a Pinewood Derby track, or if your unit has to pay for facility rental, you could capture that right here. And so from the income side, we're going to say we're going to be starting the calendar year with, or the scouting year with, is $1,500. In this particular unit's case, they're going to charge a $50 fee for all returning scouts, and they're going to collect it in August. And then for their new scouts, they're going to charge $75 at the time of joining, and then the remainder is going to be collected in October. There's also an opportunity here where you could say if there's other income sources, whether that's your chartered organization providing funds to you, you're doing another fundraiser, or if you received a payment directly for whatever reason. And then there's opportunity for you to put it in the popcorn sale commission. Right here in row 132, you'll see a title that says pricing table. We have included the current fees as we know them from the national organization. If/when the fees change, we'll provide an updated pricing table. So you could just copy that information, paste it right here into those cells, and then the spreadsheet will automatically make the necessary update. Now we're going to go into the brainstorming tab. This is the one where we would encourage you to get your units, families, and scouts involved and start putting down ideas. The ideas we've suggested here are ideas that we have seen be successful in other units. Does not mean that this is a comprehensive list. So feel free to add to this if you'd like. Just make sure that you insert your rows above these gray bars. And if you do insert an item, like I inserted a test activity right here, you also want to make sure that you reference the cost over here per youth. We've also added links where necessary, either directly to a specific item, like in the case of camps, or if it's more of a just a community type thing for our service projects. You can just get to our community service projects page. And so you'll see those throughout, and we would encourage you to reference that and also look for updates on our website, crossroadsbsa.org/activities, for new and updated information related to other opportunities that maybe we aren't aware of quite yet. The calendar tab is the last one that really requires your input. And this can be done typically at like a PAC committee meeting would be a good opportunity. And we have instructions up here so you can do that. I want to call your attention to a couple things. So first off, you'll see that the header is automatically populated using the variables we put in on the Q&A prep tab. We also, same color coding combination. And you'll start to see how this populates. So let's say we're going to do another PAC activity in August. It's going to be a busy month, and we decide we need to do one more thing. So let's say we're going to do a bike safety rodeo. So we've selected that, and then you'll notice right here on the cost per youth, it carried over a value of 0 because on the brainstorming tab, we already told it there's not really a cost for a bike safety rodeo. But let's say instead of that, we're going to do a fishing event. The fishing event, there's bait and tackle and all this other stuff that's going to be required. Now you'll see that there is a cost per youth of $3, and that automatically gets populated using the information on the Q&A prep tab. That's why it's so important for us to put a value there. So now we're going to do that test activity that we had set up previously. So I selected that, and now you can see the $10 fee that we had planned for it automatically pulls over. Now you can go through and populate this as much as you want. We would encourage you to use this as your starting point for your unit's calendar. We also have purposely included these activity coordinator fields over here. The way I would recommend utilizing this is if you have a parent who is just adamant that it's not Cub Scouting if we don't do a fall family overnight in the month of August, perhaps that person should be the activity coordinator for that event. Over here on the right, we also have recommended activities for those months based off of what's happening in the council or what we would suggest doing based off of the time of year. We've also included the recommended adventures for each of the dens. So now I'd like to show you the budget, and this again pulls information from the Q&A prep, the brainstorming, and the calendar tab, and it will automatically build your budget for you using your answers. And you'll see the information that we were putting in from the calendar automatically gets pulled in over here. So in the month of August, for the meetings and events that we're offering, it's going to cost $26 per youth, which with our 50 youth equals $1,300. And if we were to fill out the rest of those months, that information would be populated as well, including the description of what those events are, so that as you're looking at the budget, you don't have to go back and reference the calendar tab. Here on the advancement and recognition section, this information is utilizing the questions you answered on the Q&A prep. On the rechartering section, it captures the Scout Life that we had talked about, and all the other information just is already inserted using the cost pricing table. The supplies and training section, it's again pulling over that information that we set aside. You can see we have the reserve fund, the Scout Assistance Fund, and a contingency all built in here for you. We have our den expenses, and then we also have our long-term and other expenses. Then we get down to our income. It talks about the PAC dues, other income that might be coming in, then extrapolates out and figures out what is the fundraising need for this particular unit. So this unit, they're going to need $13,000 to function for the year, and we've put in the anticipated commission. It will then make the necessary calculations and show you the fundraising goal for your unit, as well as the fundraising goal per each of your 50 youth members. This is a good time to point out there is a price disclaimer, if you will. And so obviously prices are subject to change. These are current as of April 1st. Any of our camp fees that we've highlighted in here, they are the 2023 early bird, and we know those will change based off of food and other expenses. So our wrap up tab shows you, hey, you've accomplished it, you've done a good work. It reminds you that that we'd like you to upload the file to our website using the link there. And then it also references a parent budget and parent calendar that exists here. This is a simple version of your calendar where it just pulls in the date, the description, the location, the activity coordinator information. We also have the parent budget tab. Looks very similar, simplified version of your budget. So it shows the program expenses and the income, and as well as the fundraising goal for the unit. And you'll note here, we've done some rounding to make it a little cleaner. We've also included some basic information that if you'd like to include this, you could. It talks about how much it's going to cost to be a member of your PAC for the year. And it presents it in a way of either they pay out of pocket or they pay a portion or they just sell popcorn. So you can, and that's based off of the questions and how you answer them on the Q&A prep tab. We also have a new Scout cost and payment option to help them understand what it costs to join your unit. Down here at the bottom, we have a mention of summer camp and how they can attend for free with the popcorn sale and what an additional amount of popcorn they'd have to sell in order to do that. 2 additional tabs here, an accounting budget, as well as a camp cost budget. The accounting budget, you could reference that during your PAC meetings and help keep track of where things stand in the unit. And then the camp cost is just an opportunity for you to see a table of what the costs are for those different camps and keep track of how much money needs to come in. So that's a very quick overview of our PAC program planner. This is a Google Sheet currently, and we'll be linking to that from our website. We also will have an Excel version of this document, as well as both a Google Sheet and an Excel version of a troop program planner. All of those will be available on our website by April 30th. So make sure you check that out. If you have suggestions on how we can improve this, please feel free to reach out to us. There's an email address here, it@cacin.us. You can find it on the wrap up tab. Again, we want to make this a tool to make things easier. This is a culmination of literally years worth of effort by staff, by volunteers. It's been checked, vetted, reviewed by multiple people, but we also know that it's not going to be perfect. So if you have an idea that you're like, hey, other units need to know about this, or if you find that maybe the logic isn't working quite as planned, please let us know, because we want this to be a feature that you can utilize to offer an ideal year of scouting for your unit. So with that, thanks for watching.
All right, clear as mud, right? I know there was quite a bit there, okay? It's not as overbearing as it may seem. As you populate the first page, it will auto-calculate almost everything for you. Then when you go into a little bit deeper, that's when you start adding the names of the youth and everything else in the activities. You didn't have to memorize all this tonight, okay? This is all going to be available online. In one of the slides, I'm even going to show a QR code that if you want to take a picture of it with your phone to bookmark it, you can. Once again, I'm available. The commissioners will be available. Mike's available. Ashley's available. Jacob's available. We will help you guys get through this, okay? So if you want to use it, I recommend you use it. It's a very valuable tool. So any questions on that system?
The grown-ups sit down and decide what everybody's going to do, and then you tell the scouts, right? And the parents. With true ideal
Is the patrol method.
Scouts are going to do it, take it to the committee and the scout master, and then it's going to go around and around and around, and then come back and just do the final thing.
Yeah, this is what they showed tonight was the cup version, and there will be a troop level version of it as well too. They just wanted to get something in front of you so you could have a basic understanding of it. So, yeah.
So, and I don't know if we've been doing this correctly or incorrectly or whatever. In the past, I was always told that the PAC plans for the calendar year. So we make our plans January to December, but then the IYOS spreadsheet looks like it's school year. So and that's the problem I'm running into, because I have 2 planning sessions for my PAC every year. I have one in the fall, the first Saturday or Sunday of March, and then I have one about 6 months later. So we didn't have the planning spreadsheet for March, which meant we weren't able to plan for 2024. So, how should we be planning?
Either one is right. Back when I was a Cub Scout, everything moved on your birthday. So when you turned 9, you moved, 10, you moved, 11, you moved.
Okay.
sometime in the 1990s, things shifted, late 80s, early 90s, to kind of being school years. So that's how most PACs operate. We recruit new in August, September, run through, we do our 3 PAC activities for the Sometime PAC Award in the summer, go to day camp, those things. So that's how most PACs operate. But the big thing is, do we have a calendar? Do we have a plan? Do we have a bunch of fun stuff? Are our scouts going to have fun? Are families invited? Do parents feel comfortable that this is a good value? So either one is fine.
I personally would prefer to plan off the school calendar year. The problem I see with that is I have to register my scouts in January.
Okay?
So if, one, we're collecting dues or we're collecting payments for, I'll just use 2022 and 23 for an example. We're collecting for 23's registration in at the last quarter of 2022, correct?
Okay?
To pay for 23's registration.
Okay.
But then I'm not planning another year until the beginning of August of 23, right?
I think I'm following you. This may be something we ought to talk about afterwards.
The good thing about the document is it will auto-populate as you add new youth.
Yeah.
And it'll help forward look your expenses, if that helps you.
I think too with yours though, I see what you're saying. It goes, because if you do your planning in June,
Right.
then you're gonna have how many ever scouts you have in June. You do your
Right.
recruitment in August, say in June you have 10 scouts. In August, when school starts, you go back to school, you do the school calendar, you may get 20 more scouts. So now you have 30 scouts and you only plan
Right.
for 10.
Well, to give you an example, my pack was on its last legs at the beginning of August. We had 5 scouts. By the end of August, I had 28 scouts. So planning, I'm flying by the seat of my pants the whole year because I planned for what I have, which was 5 kids, and we, realistically probably provided services for 20 or 21 kids throughout the year, right? So it's kind of difficult to run a program. I don't know.
It's such a varied number from
Yeah.
start to August.
I think you could still have the program, the calendar, the budget would be what would be changing.
Yeah.
Which is scalable. I mean, that's why, if you go from, like you said, 5 scouts to 20, okay, and now I've got, 7 tigers and 3 wolves and 12 bears, and it's all scalable. But yeah, the point is having a program, and I've heard other people say this, and by the way, when I was a PAC committee chair in 2 different PACs, we did this, I think we used the old one that you used back in 2007. It was a great tool, and the committee said, okay, hey, here's things we're willing to do. But then we went to a PAC meeting and put them up on the wall and say, hey, here's 4 things. Who wants to do A, B, C, or D? And we had the Cub Scouts run to a corner. Hey, I want A. They all ran to that corner. I want B. They went to, whatever. And then okay, hey, we got 3 who want that, 6 who want that, 27 who, okay, I guess we're doing that one. And it got the Cub Scouts involved, and they were pretty excited about it.
All right. So moving forward, we're going to get into membership. The calendar and the budget we just reviewed are vital to helping your unit strengthen its program and grow its membership. Has anyone played kickball with just 2 people? It's not very much fun. It's more fun to play with more people. That's why membership is important. More scouts make activities more fun. Every successful unit has a strong plan to engage new scouts and families. Within this presentation is an information specific to fall planning. Scouts BSA troops are encouraged to work collaboratively with their Cub Scout packs and their district membership teams to plan their growth efforts. Organize a fun sign-up night. Plan and organize dedicated sign-up night for Cub Scouts. Keep the sign-up night simple and effective is a great way to introduce a unit to its newest members. Make sure the event is fun, engaging, and informative with a planned activity. Such a theme could be like Take Flight in Scouting, and demonstrations that showcase the exciting opportunities that Cub Scouts offer. We want to aim for an informative and simple process for new parents as well. Pack calendar, your contact list, your program sales, your supports. Create a pack calendar that outlines upcoming events, meetings, activities for Cub Scouts. Keep it, share it, and then make a contact list for adult leadership for new parents to be able to use as they need when they come on board to your program. Execution. Communication and marketing of the sign-up night utilizes social media, email, flyers, and other communication channels to promote the sign-up night. Create eye-catching graphics, posts, messages that highlight the benefits and the excitement of the Cub Scouts, and share them with everybody that you know. Encourage current Cub Scouts and their families to share the event within their own networks, their own personal Facebook pages and whatnot. Social media is your friend. Utilize it as best as you can possibly can. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, to engage with engaging content that showcases the fun of the activities that you're having. Being a friend. Encourage Cub Scouts to bring a friend to a Cub Scout meeting and events. Scouting gets more fun when friends join. I know one of the recruiting events that the venturing crew uses is we go on a lot of activities, what we call fun nights. And we tell every one of the crew, bring a friend that's not in scouting. So, and when you do that, they go bowling a lot, they've played disc golf, we've had cookouts. I mean, they're planning a geocaching event here shortly. I know they're wanting to work with 101 over in Clay and do some stuff. But when you do those fun events like that, ask your scouts to bring somebody that's not in scouting. Engage parents and involve parents in Cub Scout program by providing opportunities for them to participate and contribute. Create a welcome and inclusive environment that encourages parents and den leaders to commit and committee members or their roles within the pack. Regularly communicate, food's talking back, through scout book emails and channels to keep them informed. Filling dens. Pay attention to your den size. Ensure that all dens have adequate number of scouts to maintain an active and engaging program. Monitor den rosters regularly and identify any dens that need additional efforts for growth. Consider organizing den-specific events and activities that cater to the interest of the new scouts. Units with membership grow to do a lot of things. We want to highlight 4 of those. The number 1 retention tool in scouting are our BSA summer camps. Units with consistent retention and good growth skills have scouts that participate in summer camps or council runs. We'll talk more about those options in the next section. For troops and venturing crews, the camping world and how it can be membership and retention tools is expansive. Troops might participate in Scouts BSA summer camps options, Randsburg, or experience a high adventure. Units with memberships grow well. This includes planning how to your adult leadership in the fall and ensure to be thinking about your succession plan. Unit-based Facebook pages are not typically their best method for promotion. Parents promoting scouting on their personal Facebook pages and personal testimony does so much more. Private Facebook groups for schools, parents of, moms of, and groups are fantastic ways to promote your unit. The fall planning checklist, because we talked about how often, in the fall we recruit a lot of people in. This is a resource that your district leadership team will work through with each pack. It is a document that details different pieces of fall recruitment with a space to include who's responsible for what things and a timeline for when those things are taking place. Go ahead and go to the next one. Cub Fun Days. Cub Fun Days is essentially a day of summer camp. These events are well recommended for both returning and brand new scouts. In the fall, and especially August, we are welcoming new families into the scouting movement with exciting promises of school shooting archery, building, crafts, and playing in the outdoors, and much more. Cub Fun Day for brand new families is our way to deliver on some of those promises right away. The Crossroads Air Show. In October, we want you to be part of the Crossroads Air Show. The air show is taking place October 28th and 29th at the Regional Indianapolis Airport. Over the show weekend, we will be holding an encampment at Camp Belzer for Scouts BSA, Venturers, Explorers, and Leaders. The encampment registration is free. Scouts participating in the encampment will be asked to provide service both Saturday and Sunday to the air show. Those participating at Camp Belzer will be bused to and from the show each day. Registered Cub Scouts are not eligible for the encampment participation, but are invited to attend the air show at no cost. So that's free for Cub Scouts. Probably be a really cool thing to do.
So if, like say a troop would go, would that be a fee for them?
If they participate doing service work, it's
No,
free.
there's no fee, but if they don't do the encampment, then is there a fee for the troops? Or is it
That
just Cub Scouts are free?
That I can't answer.
Good question.
Okay.
That's a good question we'll have to check on.
Okay.
So, but yeah, if you're going and you're volunteering, you get in for free, and the camp out's free. Cub Scouts get to go to the air show for free.
And is that parents as well, or just registered Cub Scouts? Do you know?
You're a registered leader
I was gonna
at the
say,
encampment.
But if you're not involved in the encampment, and you just go to the air show.
Great question.
That's another good question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Might just ask again.
We knew there'd be a lot of questions. That's why every council or every district that's doing Roundtable tonight has the +1 executive here. So that's why he's here, because this was put. This was this.
Doug, number one.
Yeah, this is Doug number 1. So me and Doug got to know each other quite a bit over our Zoom calls over a few years, and he was a wealth of information for me to help learn my position as well. So this was, like I said, there was a lot of changes. That's why you see me reading from a script, and there was a lot of modifications to the program, and that's why we also have the extra help here tonight to answer some of the questions that may catch me off guard a little bit. So thank you for bearing with me and us on this as we get through it. So, all right, so I'm trying to get us through this here. All right, go ahead and hit the next one. All right, concession and volunteer beneficiaries. We have even more great concession beneficiaries. These logos on the screen are not the full list. Hoosier Veterans and Families, Hero Huts, the Alzheimer's Association, the Civil Air Patrol, Purdue Pilots, Skyview, Ryan's Fire Protection, Grace on Wings, Gigi's Playhouse, and Champ Champ. Jameson's Camp, American Diabetes, and the remaining 4 stands will be filled by veteran-owned organizations at the air show. All right, Discovery Day Camp and Cub Day Camp. Discovery Day Camp and Cub Day Camp are 2 summer camps that we operate out of Camp Belzer in Indianapolis. Discovery Day Camp is open to the public. Summer camp for ages 5 to 10. This camp is entirely drop off and does not require adult leadership. Cub Fun Day is a day camp based out of Camp Belzer and geared towards rising tiger and bear scouts. The camp requires 2 adults with a ratio of 1 to 10 per youth. On the slide are the 2024 dates for both of these summer camp opportunities. Family Camp and Arrow of Light Camp. Family Camp and Arrow of Light Camp are 2 summer camps operating at Camp Kicklawina in Franklin. Family Camp is Friday to Saturday. Weekend overnight camping experience designed for family or the household to attend together. The camp is geared specifically towards rising bears and webelos, but is suitable for all ages in the family to attend and have fun. The Arrow of Light Camp is Monday to Thursday, and it is an overnight camp. It is geared directly towards rising Arrow of Light scouts and is created around the patrol method. The program is made to give scouts some experience of what scouting will be like when they cross over into the BSA. Regional Day Camp. Dates for the regional day camps are to be determined in coordination with our day camp staff volunteer. And this one was for Randsburg, is what they're showing on the screen. And then we'll go ahead and go to the next slide. Recent updates. Finally, we want to share some important national and council updates. Safe Guide to Scouting in February 2023. Go ahead and hit the next screen. Updated barriers to abuse. Updated Cub Scout coordinated camping session. We want to call to your attention some important information included in February 2023's release to Guide to Safe Scouting. I know we've already talked about this at the last roundtable. There was a lot of questions that were brought up, and there was a little bit of confusion. The one night overnight rule. Cub Scouts, pack camping coordinated by the unit. This is the key. By the unit are limited to a single night. The adult overnight rule. This takes effect in September 1st. Cub Scout parents and legal guardians are not required to register as leaders to participate in the overnight activity. All others, grandparents, uncles, aunts, unless you're not the legal guardian of the youth, you can't stay overnight. Okay? The only way around that is to be in a fee-required position. Merit badge counselor doesn't count. Unpaid committee member doesn't count. Okay? Everybody clear on that? Is there any questions? Okay. All right. In the Scouts BSA, the adult overnight rule. In Scouts BSA, I know I keep repeating myself on this because we had a Zoom meeting the other night and it kept getting brought back up. There was confusion. Adults staying overnight in connection with a scouting activity must be in a fee-registered position in Scouts BSA. Parents cannot stay in Scouting BSA. That's Scout to Eagle. Any questions on that?
September 1st.
In September 1st is when this takes effect.
What does that mean by adult program participant?
Means you're in a fee-required position. Cub Master, Scout Master, or not, Scout Master.
The reason I ask is because it says registered in an adult fee-required position as listed, or as an adult program participant.
Meaning like you're serving on staff for that camp out.
No, adult.
No?
No, adult program participants are venturing crew.
Oh,
members that are
okay.
18
All right,
to
that's
20.
where I'm messing up at. Oh, Scouting Reserve. Okay, sorry. That's a good question. You even tripped me up.
So this doesn't really apply to me anymore, but in the past, I went with 006 because my daughter was a part of theirs. I am not registered with them.
But you're in a fee-required position because you've had a background check.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, I was just wanted to make sure.
Now, where it could be put into question, and we had this question come up, if you have no scouts involved in that group, then there might be a question of, well, why exactly are you here?
Right. And that's where the leadership can say.
And that's where the leadership has to meet and discuss.
This is all geared around being as safe as possible with our scouts.
Like if I wanted to go with 006, and I don't have any kids in 006, that's where the leadership would have to have a conversation, if I'm not going in my official role as a district chair.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm with 006. I have no kids in it. I'm a committee member, but I'm a paid member of Scout.
Yep. Mhm.
So I'm fine to go?
Yes.
Okay.
The whole purpose behind that is the background checks and the insurance. The moment you put this uniform on, you are covered by BSA insurance. People that do not pay a fee aren't covered by the insurance, and if I'm not mistaken, they haven't really technically had the background check, right?
Tiger partners and adult partners, Tiger and Lion partners do not have a background check.
Right, and that's the main purpose behind this rule change, is limiting the access to our youth. That people that, we need to make sure they're safe and they're taken care of. That's the main purpose behind the rule. And this is national. It's completely national. All right, let's move on to local council fees. All right, paused. You need to use the correct term here. Until January 1st, 2024. The feedback has been reviewed. Models are being developed. Yes, you might have an update.
Read the notes at the bottom first.
Oh, okay. Read the notes in the bottom first? Okay. All right. The local council fee has been paused until January 1st, 2024. Feedback has been collected throughout the council through one-on-one discussions, group presentations, and messages sent.
Where'd they go?
You gave it to me.
Read those notes first.
Read these notes first? Okay.
You should have put those at the top because that explains the background.
Okay. All right. Given more global background on the adventure fee, I guess this is setting the tone, is what he was trying to get me to do here. All right. Expecting people who are unaware. A, the BSA allows councils to charge a fee to cover insurance and program items. Discussed many options over the past year looked at by other council plans. They have shared a draft plan, received lots of feedback, and have paused the plan until 1/1/24. Still taking feedback, but need to announce a plan by 8/1/2023. Now I'll go back to the front here. The local council fee was paused until January 1st of 2024. The feedback has been collected throughout the council through one-on-one discussions, group presentations, and messages sent to the adventure feedback at C, the one that they've been talking about. I'm not going to try to read that. And the collective feedback has been reviewed and has been taken into consideration in developing different models and pricing levels. A geographically diverse task force will review these models and make a recommendation for final pricing information, and will be provided no later than August 1st, which means once they figure everything out, it'll be provided for us to know no later than August 1st. The main thing that's driving the decision is the inflationary market. Changes how fees are collected will replace anticipated national fee changes. Will cover some programming previously provided by the unit, budgeting for families, and transference costs are going up. We're waiting to hear from National on what these new costs will be. All right, that was a lot. That was a ton. Am I an expert on it? Absolutely not. Okay? But I will help you with it. Huh? No, actually, yeah. So the program growed quite a bit from what I presented before. So, and there was a lot of changes made at the last minute. So that's why I had to use the Cliff Notes, and I struggled significantly with it. Yeah. Now, you don't have to know all this. That's the thing I can't stress enough. We're going to have the program on the website. We're going to have the program linked to our Facebook page. We're going to email it to you if you ask for it, okay? If you need help filling out the document, the Google Docs or the Excel when they get it all finished, I will help you. Ashley will help you. Michael. Yeah, okay. We'll help you plan this. So that's the main thing I want you guys to understand. I know he's been bugging me forever to get the last year's one, and I keep forgetting, so I guess I did let you down. So, but I kept forgetting it to email last year's program to him. So, but yeah, it will be made accessible to everybody here. When you go to the website, you will see some of the links aren't active yet. That's because they're still trying to finalize everything. And these are basically tools to help you run your unit. That's the main thing behind that.
So I recognize that we're still working the kinks out with the new spreadsheets and all that stuff, which is why this is a little late getting out. But is there when can we expect that to be, once it's kind of ironed out? When can we expect that to be?
I can give you the Google Docs version tonight if you want.
No, I'm saying going forward, in years to come. Can we expect that
This was,
earlier than?
this was something me and him were discussing earlier when he got here. And this is something I had a discussion with him this morning over text message, was my level of frustration over how late this was provided to me. When I put this program on last year, I had a week to rehearse it. I knew everything. I was able to explain it thoroughly. This is not normal.
No, and I understand that, and I recognize that, this is being amended and adapted every day. But, my hope is that we could get this published for the units.
It's going to be out before the end of the month.
I'm saying in years to come.
Okay.
So,
My guess is, that, and I know you asked the question about calendar year versus school year, but at least the last several years, the intent is to get it out before the end of April. Because a lot of PACs do their planning in May, June, before everybody breaks for summer. If you recommend a different time, let me know.
I mean, I know a lot of units that try to plan 6 months in advance.
Okay.
That seems like a good round number for getting that plan out
Okay.
there. So I mean, my suggestion would be try and get it out, no later than March 1st.
Okay.
All right, we're running a little long here, but it's not a big deal. Does anybody want help doing a calendar? Because I have a very knowledgeable expert person that was willing to come here tonight to show you how you guys to plan your year.
I don't know about expert, but
You do it very well.
She does it very well. And so if you guys want that, we can do it.
I'd like to say something. I just got the link for unit registration for popcorn. So I'll be sending that out here real soon to everybody. I know the 4 units on this corner are already signed up. So.
And before everybody kind of starts dispersing, and I know some folks are leaving, May the 4th,
Oh, yes.
we are, really, I am trying to have a serious announcement and you're interrupting me with it.
Yeah, this one's important.
May the 4th, we are combining our roundtable and our district committee meeting. There will not be any other roundtable or district committee meeting in the month of May. I'm going to be in Africa eating mice. We've established that. May the 4th at 6:30, we are going to have that combined meeting here at Memorial Methodist. We are going to have 2 special guests, Joe Wiltrout, who is our Scout Executive, and Chuck Phippen, who is our Scout Chief Council Commissioner. Look, get it all out there. Both of those guys are going to be here. Both of those guys are going to be fireside chat formatting, but we want everyone to get the questions to me ahead of time so I can kind of group them together and we can keep this fireside chat, because I know how this district loves to jump with rabbits, and we just want to kind of keep that discussion streamlined. And they're going to address a lot of the things that have been brought up from the district over the past several months.
Yeah, your concerns and statements have not gone unheard, and it has been our privilege and duty as a key 3, especially Mike. Mike has been a pit bull with the council. I mean, literally been a pit bull with the council. And I personally want to give him a round of applause for that, because he is constantly looking for our best interests. So, and he's done a very good job at going after it. So.